Hi everyone, I'm Lynn from Finds of Yesterday, and I sell on Poshmark, Mercari, and eBay, and I love selling jewelry. And I went to a sale recently where I bought 168 brooches for $110, and I sorted them out recently, and I did a part one video of me casually going through the box. But now I've sorted out the vintage ones from the regular ones, and I wanted to just give you an overall view of all the vintage ones that I got and kind of go through some of them. Monet, Trefari, Sarah Coventry, and a whole bunch more. So I just wanted to show you an overall of what I got. So let's turn the camera around and take a look. So these are the vintage brooches that I got in the $110 buyout, and I still have a box over here full of brooches. I think most of the ones in there are up-to-date, more modern ones. These are almost all the vintage ones. So I started looking through them and found some really cool things about them and just wanted to give you a little tour. So starting here, this first two I wanted to talk about was this turtle and this little bell. And these are Jerry's brand, which is a cheaper fashion brand that was popular from the 1950s through the 90s. They went out of business in the 1990s. And they made a lot of animals and Christmas brooches. And then we moved on. Down here is this really pretty Monet brooch, flower brooch, and it is enamel. Monet was started in 1930, I think, and they continued on till the 1990s. And they did a lot of high-end fashion jewelry. So they changed over the years of different things that they've used in their jewelry, depending on if it was wartime or good times. And their pieces are really sought after because they did a really fantastic job of crafting their items. Then let's go over to this one, which is a Trefari piece. And Trefari started back in the 1930s or 1920s. And they evolved over time too. I think their biggest competition was Monet at the time. And back, all the way up till 2000 when they sold out to Liz Claiborne, that is who's producing the items now. And I think she sent her items over to China to be made. So their pieces are sought after, the vintage ones are, and their logo has evolved over time and changed. That went from Trefari to Crown Trefari, and they're known for like the jelly bellies, the pins with the pearl lucite belly in like fish or animals, different types of pieces. They also made like flags and patriotic symbols during the wartime, and they did a lot of different things. They do scarf clips, brooches, dress clips. Moving on down to this area, I noticed that we have a lot of the rivets. This was around the 1950s, which you can see the starburst pattern, and a lot of these are kind of the starburst pattern, and they were all made in the 50s. Look at that one. When you turn these over, this is what it looks like on the back. So you see these little circle rivet things. Them are symbolic of the 50s, and they are vintage. So when you see that on the back of them, you know that it is a vintage piece. Then there's something else called filigree, which you will see in these pieces right here. See the thin, precise metal? It's real thin, cut out metal. You have to kind of be careful with these pieces because they do bend easy because they are so thin. This one over here is one of my favorites. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's from the 50s. Then down here is an Austria raspberry crystal. Now these, I've seen double ones sell on eBay for $50. So I'm guessing this little one pin will be about 25 to 30. You might be able to get 35 for it. So that was an interesting one to keep an eye out for. Austrian fruit. Then up here we have one called JJ. It's Jeanette Jewelry. Jonette. Jeanette. They did a lot of animals and leaves and figural type things. And then we have Avon, which Avon just doesn't get the credit that it should. They produced a lot of really pretty jewelry, and they put a lacquer or something over the pieces to make them last longer, as well as Sarah Coventry. She also did the same type of thing where they coat the pieces in a lacquer of some sort that makes them last a lot longer. See how shiny and pretty they still are? And these are vintage pieces, but they really extend the life of them. And look how long they've been around. We're talking about 50 years now for them pieces, and they look like they're 10 years old, if that. And here's another cute little one, Nepear or Nepear. I don't know. I've heard so many variations of how to pronounce this name. These little legs on this little bear move. So you definitely can see the quality that these jewelry companies put into their pieces back then. So I just love vintage jewelry. I love the quality of it. And I just wanted to share some of them little things that I noticed about the pieces that I got this weekend. I hope you enjoyed it. We will see you on the next video.